Hi, this is Amy, and this is Smarter Gmail Lesson 12. And today we're going to talk about using your Gmail features to get a clean and organized inbox. So, I was just telling someone yesterday that it just hurts me every time I look over the shoulder of a Gmail user and I see hundreds and hundreds of messages in their inbox completely unsorted, just thrown in there, because I know how powerful the features of Gmail are to really organize that information and do something useful with it that will help you get your job done. So, not that this video is for my husband, but I really do hope he watches it. So, Rich, I'm going to be talking to you. So these things that you see up in the top of my inbox are tabs, and this is a new feature that just came out a few weeks ago, and you do not have to use these tabs, but it is one way that Gmail is trying to help you organize your inbox. So you can see how this inbox looks with the different tabs up at the top, and then this is my work inbox where, at least right now, I don't have these tabs enabled. I'm using priority inbox. You're going to have to play around and see which method works best for you. I find that most educators I work with are really worried about missing something. So if you don't feel comfortable with that tabbed environment, let me show you how to turn it off and how to go back to this normal kind of inbox, and then we'll go from there to priority inbox. So to turn off the new style inbox, if you don't feel comfortable with that yet, then you can go to your gear in the top right hand corner and go to configure inbox. So if you don't want to see any of these tabs, you can go through and uncheck each of them so that only primary is checked, and that will take your inbox back to just one list like you're used to. From there, let's go and look at another type of inbox that maybe is less of a change for you but still might help to keep you organized. So let's change from default inbox type to priority inbox, and let's start kind of moving toward this. So I'm asking you to make a little bit of a change today, and then maybe later on we'll move back to the tabbed inbox. So here we are, and we've got some different sections here. Now these sections are not predetermined for you. Well, they are predetermined for you, but you can pick what they are if you don't like these. So let's say that this email is really not that important to you. So you're going to unclick the important, unclick the starred. Well, it will move out of this section, so you have control over it. Let's go to my work inbox so there's more to look at. You can see that I've got some emails here tagged as important. Well, if an email is not tagged as important that really is important to me, when it comes in, I can mark it as important. So that will help me build Gmail's knowledge of what is important to me. So, for example, if my boss emails me and that doesn't automatically go into the important category, then I'm going to tag it as important so that Gmail starts to learn when an email comes in from this person, you should put it in the important section. It can learn based on topic, it can learn based on person. So, if it's important to you, just make sure to mark it as important, it'll go into that section. Now, let's look at how to control what these sections are. Also, there's this starred section, and you may notice as I go through and star some of my messages that I have lots of different stars, so we'll also turn on more stars for you. Then when I refresh my inbox, those are going to move into my starred section. So first, at how to configure the priority inbox. Let's go to our gear and our settings, and we can look at our inbox settings right here on the third label over. So these are the inbox sections that I have chosen to have within my priority inbox. So I can also go to each of these sections and configure options. For example, hide section when empty. You may have noticed that you didn't see an important and unread in my inbox. That's because there aren't any today, because it's summertime and I don't get nearly as many emails during the summer. So now let's move over. We're going to save changes if you changed anything. And then let's move over to general and let's make all of our stars appear. So you can see in my account, I've got all the stars in use, and I would encourage you to do the same thing, because what this lets you do, so you want to change that to all stars and then save at the bottom. When we go back to our inbox, that's going to let us use color coding or whatever method we want, because every time I click this email, the little logo there is going to change. So I could use this to remind myself, for example, when there's something that I need to take care of, like there is right here. And those will remain in the starred section. All right, let's see what's next. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to clean up a mailbox. So I know if you've watched the previous videos in this series, you may have seen some of these techniques before, but I'm going to pretend that you're a new to Gmail user and you've got that scenario that I described before where there are hundreds of messages in your inbox and they have no sort of organizational structure. Well, we talked about those labels and folders before, and we know that we don't need to create a folder called Mary because those emails are already going to be findable because they're all from Mary. But what we might want to do if we have multiple people creating purchase orders, for example, is we might want to create a folder called purchase orders so that we can put these emails in there. So here's how we can do that. We can go to Move to, Create New, and we can call this Purchase Orders. If we want to do some organization, we can put that under a parent folder. I don't have a parent folder for that. And we can click Create. When we do that, those emails are going to move to a folder. They're going to go out of my inbox because a folder means archive combined with label. Now, remember, we can still have more than one label on those if we need to, but that's going to archive them. So I'm actually going to move those back to my inbox now so I don't forget. So here's that folder I just created. I'm going to select those email messages and I'm going to move them back to the inbox, which is also a folder and a label, kind of the same thing. So now when I go back to inbox, those emails from Mary are back there. So it's really easy for me to move these emails around, so don't feel stuck like that. So the next thing I'd like us to look at is how to deal with an email that is truly junk. So it truly, you didn't sign up for it, you never should have gotten it. What are you going to do with it? So I'm going to try to find one that is really junk. And sorry, Fat Wallet, I'm going to have to pick on you. I don't recall signing up for this, and for me, it's just junk. I don't want this email at all. This may be great email for you. I'm not disparaging the email. It's just that I don't want it. So what I can do is I can create a filter for these emails that come from Fat Wallet, and I can get rid of them. This is for an email I never ever want to see again. It just does nothing for me and I don't need it. So I'm going to put a check mark by that, and if I can find others from them too, it's great to check mark several of them. So let me see if I can find any other ones. I'm just going to type Fat Wallet up in the search box up there for Gmail, and look, I have a lot of them. So I'm going to check mark a few of those, and then I am going to create a filter that deals with messages like these. So filter messages like these. I'm going to choose more and filter messages like these. So all these messages I just selected are from the same sender because they're not really a spammer. They're not changing their email address every day to thwart my system. They're just emails I don't want. Now I'm going to choose create filter with this search. Now, one thing I can do if I think I ever want to look up and see these emails is I can skip the inbox, archive it. But I don't ever want to see these emails. So I'm just going to delete these emails as soon as they come in. I'm going to apply that to all the matching conversations, and I'm just going to create that filter. Now, all those emails are just going to go away, and hopefully if I come up here and search Fat Wallet now, there's nothing from that email address up here at all gone. There are different levels of that. Let's say that there are emails like let's say you're on a listserv. This listserv is not in function right now, but I'm going to use it as an example. Let's say that you might get emails from this listserv all day long, every day, but you're only going to choose to read those during an hour of your day or 30 minutes of your day or whatever. You're not going to probably use those as the day goes by, but you want them to all be in the same place. So let's look how we can do that. Let's select a few of these and let's filter messages like these, and let's create a folder for those to go into automatically. Alright, so when we're using a listserv, the commonality among these messages is going to be that they're all to the same sender, because think about it, like Sherry is sending her email, but she's sending it to TechSig, and TechSig is what's redistributing this to the group. So let's use this, create a filter with all messages to TechSig, and maybe we will skip the inbox, archive it, and maybe we will apply a label at the same time. Remember, that's just like putting it in a folder. And maybe we'll put it in a label called TechSig. And now we can apply to matching conversations and create filter. What's going to happen then, when any email comes in that has been sent to TextSig, it's going to go into this handy folder over here, and then whenever I get ready to read those messages, they're going to be all over here on the side in my mailbox. But you might ask, what if I don't see that label over there? It doesn't show up anymore, and I can't find it. Well, let's change the label color on that to make it something more visible. I'm going to do all sublabels on that. So we can do that. What we can do also is we can go to our settings, and we can go to our settings up here at the top to our filters and labels, and we can change what shows and what doesn't. So if I go down and find TextSig, I can make sure that that shows in my labels on the side. So here it is, and I can choose Show If Unread. If there's anything in that folder that's unread, I want to see that label over on the side. And that should make it show up. I don't even have to save on this page. So now I can go back to my inbox. There's my TextSig label over on the side, and I can read it whenever I get ready. So we talked about putting something into a folder, which is going to archive it and label it. But what if we still want to see it in our inbox, but we also want it to have a label? Well, that's when we use this little label button here on the right. And so I might label this one Family, and it would stay in my inbox and still have the label Family. So there it is. I can label it and unlabel it as Family, and it will remain in my inbox. But that label will appear in just a second. And actually, I guess the subject's too long on this one. It's not showing up. But when I open up the email, there's that label up at the top. So even though Gmail is the best filter in the world, sometimes you get something that is truly spam. It's extremely rare for me, but sometimes it happens. So I'm going to go, and that comes into your inbox is what I mean. So not just that it goes into the spam folder, which obviously I get lots of that, but sometimes it goes in there into your inbox when it shouldn't, or sometimes it goes into the spam box when it shouldn't. So gosh, I would really hate to not get my Gap Silver rewards. So I can check mark that and do not spam. But all of this stuff looks like it's legitimately is just kind of junk sort of stuff. So I'm going to take one of these, and we're just going to pretend that this showed up in my inbox. So I'm going to put it in there, mark it as not spam, and then show you how we'll deal with it. All right, so here it is. Message in characters I don't understand. I guess they're Chinese, but I can't read them, and I didn't ask for this. So I'm going to mark this message, and I'm going to mark this as spam. Report spam. It's immediately going to go away. It's going to go into my spam folder, which is right over here. If you can't see that, click on All Mail, and then you will see every single message, no matter what label it has. And you can also go to More over on this side and see your labels. So here's my spam folder, so I can mark things as spam, or I can remove them from being spam. So another technique that we might use is to enable smart labels. So we're going to go into our gear and settings, and then we're going to go over to labs. And we're going to look for the lab called smart labels. So let's turn that on and save our changes and take a look at what it does. Of course, if you have a lot more content in your inbox than I do, this will probably look a lot more profound. But what this is going to do is it's going to automatically label all of the mails that come into our inbox if they meet certain criterion. So this email was sent to many, many people. So Google knows because of the sender and how many people got it that it's a promotion. So we have promotions, notifications. Let's look at what other labels we might see. Bulk. And it just gives us a little bit more information about what's coming into our mailbox. So that might help you out to see that. So one last thing, if you're really trying to clean up your inbox and maybe it looks less like mine and more like this, one thing that you might want to do is start grouping these messages together and archiving them. So let's use this one as an example. let's say Kohl's is something that we see in our inbox. Well, you probably don't need that in your inbox. Those messages are probably old and you don't need to do anything with them now. So I'm going to check mark a lot of different kinds of messages that if they were in my inbox, I would want to get rid of right away. I don't have to check mark multiple ones of the same message. It's going to be able to figure this out. So I'm going to check mark all these, and now I'm going to do something with these messages. I'm going to choose more, filter messages like these, create filter with this search, and I'm going to archive those messages right now. So this is going to be like massive clean sweep. I'm going to skip the inbox, archive it, and I'm going to categorize as promotions so that I can go and find those later if I want them. And I'm going to also apply filter to matching conversations. When I click on create filter, those emails are not going to necessarily be deleted. I can still go back and find them if I need to find that sale from Kohl's. But where I'm going to find them is not in my inbox, but in all mail. So here they are, and remember I can also go to more and I can find that label promotions, and I can find them in there too because that's how I labeled all of those messages. So here it is over on the left hand side underneath categories and promotions. I can go find all those messages there. Those are those tabs that Gmail tried to automatically create for me. So I hope that that's helped you have a cleaner inbox. Our goal is to have only what we still need to take care of in our inbox so that it is not crowded with things that distract us from our purpose. I hope that helps you or somebody who you know or love. And Rich, I hope you watched the whole thing. If you did, the keyword is goggles. So if I hear you say goggles, I'll know that you watched the whole thing. Have a great day. Bye-bye.